It's Divas That Care Radio. Stories, strategies, and ideas to inspire positive change. Welcome to Divas That Care, a network of women committed to making our world a better place for everyone. This is a global movement for women, by women, engaged in a collaborative effort to create a better world for future generations. To find out more about the movement, visit divasthatcare.com after the show. Right now, though, stay tuned for another jolt of inspiration.
Hello to all. Welcome to Divas That Care Network. I am Joyce Benning, and I will be your host for this magical, robust lifestyle show. I would like to thank each one of our listeners that are listening to this podcast on the numerous different platforms. I am so very grateful and thankful for each and every one of you. And you are in for a magical show today, as I have with me an incredible returning diva, Ann Klossing. And her and I are going to chat about discernment. Oh my, this is something each of us can use in our daily lives. So with that, Ann, would you briefly introduce yourself to our listeners today?
You betcha. My name is Ann Klossing, and I am an author and a intuitive mentor and a channeler. So channeler, and everybody, that term, I just like to let everyone know that we are all channelers. So I channel a collective consciousness that they call themselves we. So it's the creator energy and ascended masters and angels and all kinds of fun things in that, and the entire angelic realm. And I love playing with angels. So that's about me. And I do channel clearing with individuals where I work with them one-to-one, and I help people build that relationship with their soul to help them through daily living. And I've had living lately.
Yes, that you have, as you and I chatted before the show. Oh my goodness, girl. And how discernment comes into a part of that. And I love how you said how with the angels on a daily basis. And that is so true. The angelic angel forms are they're just incredible. And it's just listening to them. So with that, how would you like to start our chat today on discernment?
I always like to use myself as an example. And it's kind of like, I don't like to use the terms good and bad, but I'll use it now. I'm a good example of a bad example.
We all are.
So I like to look at it as experiences, and each life event, every moment is an experience, and we get to choose, and that is partial discernment, choose how we want to feel about that experience, whether it's the people in our lives, the events in our lives, where we live. I apologize for my dogs. I think there's somebody at the door, so they're going to bark. So I apologize for that background noise. My dogs have kept my sanity a little bit too through this process. So just to bring the audience up to speed, my partner is a dairy farmer, and we've had quite the health journey. We've been together. It'll be 11 years in the fall. And in 2021, when COVID was right in peak form, he was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. And we both did that dance together. And how do you navigate that? How do you have robust living when you're going through a health crisis? And what we did is used the principle of dreaming, envisioning. And we both held the vision of us walking over out of the Carbone Cancer Center together, hand in hand, ringing the bell and walking out hand in hand. And it's still emotional for me because it happened. And when he rang the bell, I literally fell into the nurse's arms. I couldn't control myself because all of the pressure of being that caregiver, it was like, oh my God, it's over.
Yeah.
You know, that was his last radiation treatment. We had already gotten word through his scan that most of it was gone, and the radiation would take out what little, they could barely even see it. It was kind of like negligible. So it's using the principles of universal law and imagination. And if you can't wrap your head around universal law, it's believing in the outcome when you're in the middle of it and feeling the outcome of that and feeling the joy of that. And that's the challenge. When you don't feel good, that can be a huge challenge.
Mm-hmm.
So now he had slipped out of the tractor in January, February. He pulled some ligaments, tendons. He did a good job. He didn't tear it all the way through, but he finally had rotator cuff surgery on July 2nd. And then a week after, he wasn't feeling well. We made a trip into ER, and thank God we did, because he is dealing with pulmonary embolism, so blood clots in both lungs, and it's determining where those are coming from now. And it is kind of a big deal because it was a sobering conversation we had with his doctor today, which is that can be an indicator. Blood clots can be an indicator of the return of cancer. So we made that appointment. We've got that next week. So Anne has not been at her best, but she's been doing the best she can under the circumstances. So yesterday, I could not talk as positively as I can today. Every day, in every way, I'm getting better and better. Every day, in every way, I'm getting better and better. These are some of the tools that I use. So with the shoulder repair surgery, you're stuck in a recliner 6 to 8 weeks sleeping. He has not been able to get enough sleep. That is a main concern of our doctors. We tried using wedges and some other things, but his poor tailbone's sore. And we're using a pillow. It's a tailbone pillow, basically. So he was back to the recliner again last night, but I'm not giving up on this yet. So it's working together as a couple, but also the discernment comes in to me as a caregiver is I've always been a protective. I call him, I'm your pit bull. I'm his guard dog. And I can be too rough of a guard dog to some degree. Mm-hmm. And that is the old me. The old me was the fighter, not afraid to use her mouth, didn't really care what came out. And in some instances, it's justified. And I hit that level. But as you're going through these health concerns, whether it's a child, whether it's your spouse, your mother, your father, or whoever, a good friend, the discernment comes in with defining, what's yours and what is theirs. What is theirs? This entire health journey is not mine. It isn't. It's his. Mm-hmm. So my role is to make sure that he's taking his medications on time, make sure that he's taking his physical therapy or at-home exercises that we do together, getting up and walking, all these things, helping him in the shower, but not taking over his role of thinking. So we had a salesman stop by the other day and he entertained him. So I butted in. It really wasn't mine to butt in. And I realized that when I did it, but that's the protective guard dog in me because I know that he has not had enough rest. And it's like, really? Even after what he told you he just went through, you're still here? So I went out twice. And the second time, I basically suggested that, let's wrap it up here. And I did it in a polite way. I didn't go postal on the guy. I did not do anything like that. But it's that fine line of giving that person their independence to make those decisions. Mm-hmm. And how I posed it was my recommendation is that you not make any major spending items today after everything you've been through. And I said, he really does need his rest. And then the guy wrapped it up. He was there for another probably 20 minutes. But drawing that line of his emotions and my emotions when I'm upset, that upsets him. He feels like he's wasting my time. And it's getting past that and posing it in ways to him. And I'm hoping this helps people, posing it to him that Every time you ask me to help you is faster healing. It's quicker healing.
Mhm.
And if it's in the middle of the night and you have to get me up, it's because it's faster healing. It's quicker healing because you need certain things. Don't feel bad for me. It's not his job to feel bad for me. Yep, I'm tired. Yep, I'm run down a little bit, but it's okay because this is just a short-term thing. So let's get you well, and don't feel bad about interrupting me because that's what I'm here for.
Yes.
So yeah, it's life can be very hard. It's just how hard do we make it? And I was making it really angry, resentful. What did the doctors do wrong? Why wasn't this done? Why wasn't that done? And it's all natural, but it's approaching it politely and with grace. And a lot of times I did do that, but there were times where I wasn't being heard. And then I used my guard dog vice. And he knows me enough. He's really heard the not so pleasant hand. And I only did that once.
And I think, like you said, that's where discernment comes in, because it is, I always say, it's how we choose to feel about something and how we choose to react. We all deal with challenges in our life. We all have experiences in our life, but it's how we choose to react to those challenges and experiences and how we choose to feel. And yes, sometimes that guard dog does need to come out to maybe get some other people's attention or get someone else's attention, and just to, like with your partner, make him realize the healing process will go so much faster if you let me help you, because I'm here to help you. It won't be forever. Like you said, it's a short period of time. And yes, I think you've touched on so many things that each and every one of us deal with in a daily basis, be it with someone we're taking care of, be it with our own health or our own experiences in life. I'm even thinking of driving in traffic and thinking, oh, I'm just so frustrated. I got to get there. I got to get there. If you just take time and breathe and realize I always say I'll get there on angel time, and I will. Who knows what they're saving me from by delaying me for 2 or 3 minutes. So
That's a very good point, and that is a practice that I used to do when I had to drive to work at a job that I didn't like. Was I began appreciating the person who drove slow, because then it took me longer to get to work, and I got to look at the sun rise all
yes,
that way there, and I just started changing. And then that's a term that came out of the book Ask and It Is Given. And that book is written by Esther Hicks and her husband, Jerry and Esther Hicks. And Esther channels Abraham. And they call it segmenting. And then the other practice is just a list of positive aspects, list everything positive on your way to work.
Yeah.
And then segmenting is, I used to practice, wouldn't it be nice if so-and-so was in a good mood today? Wouldn't it be nice if so-and-so was smiling and laughing today? Wouldn't it be nice? And I'd write them down in the morning, and then at night I would go down my list and I would check them off. And it was really cool because I do a list of 10. And when I could get like 8 or 9 of those, it just made me so happy, because it made me look at that individual as not the asshole anymore.
right.
Because
Right.
we don't know, and that's part of the discernment thing, is we don't know what's going on in their life.
Exactly how true that is.
We really don't. So if I were to bark at someone because they weren't moving fast enough, we take it personal. And I'm guilty of this too. I take it personal. But now, like if I get that rude checkout person, I always ask myself, I wonder what's going on in their life.
Yeah.
And then I don't get mad at them. I just thank them. Have a nice day.
Yeah.
And I don't say try to have a nice day. I say have a nice day.
Yeah. 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 I hear you. And that, to me, that is a word of encouragement to them. Because
Yes.
when you can start to, like you said, write down the positives, I always say, start to think of what you're grateful for, just like with your partner and the challenges he's been through. You're grateful that you went to the ER that evening, and grateful that he felt it in his body that he needed to go. And I mean, you have to start, sometimes it's hard, but you have to start to think of the gratefulness that you can be for things. And I've heard from another friend, gratitude is a magnet of abundance. And that just hit me like, oh my, how true it is.
Yes. And our bodies are the communication mechanism with the soul.
Yeah.
And when we are in pain, it's basically your soul sending signals to you. Pay attention.
Yeah.
Go to the heart space. And at least now, 10 years ago, I would have been probably totally distraught, angry, not that happy person, not being the best caregiver that I could be, to where now I know when I'm angry. I know when I'm blameful. And sometimes I justify it. And sometimes it's like, oh, Ann, get over yourself. It's sitting there. It's like, what's true? Do you know what's true? And, unfortunately with health, most of us are not doctors. We don't know.
Yeah.
So it's out of fear that we act the way we act.
Mm-hmm.
But when you know that you're acting that way, you can help see the gratitude in it. You can help see the grace in it.
Yeah.
And I'm beginning to see, I could sit here and say, okay, God, why the hell is this happening again? Again, this isn't my journey. But how are we going to be better as a couple having had this experience?
Mm-hmm.
I've already seen the growth in it. Within a week's time, we've had some very good conversations about each time we have a health episode. He has one. That gap becomes narrower and narrower and narrower and narrower, because your soul, your body saying, hey, you're not listening. You're not listening to your heart.
Mm-hmm.
Our bodies are amazing things, and emotions are stored throughout the body. So I'm working on a meditation series that brings out the goddess within you. But what they do through each meditation is recalibrate each energy center, because each energy center takes emotions and those get sent out to the appropriate places in the body. So like the higher heart, which is right below your throat, the divot in your throat, and like kind of right in the center of your sternum, but above the heart chakra, that higher heart is your lymphatic system. So Hodgkin's lymphoma, you're not having joy, you're not having fun, you're not laughing, you're not enjoying life. And that's spreading out through every cell in your body.
Mm-hmm.
And when you can get in tune with that chakra center, then laugh and have fun. And the joy and spirit is all about laughter and fun and bringing back the joy into your life. So it's our energy centers are so important.
Yes,
so important. And maintaining that feminine versus the masculine. So obviously I've been using a lot of masculine, the protector, the guardian, in a forceful way.
Oh, man. And I knew this would go so very quickly. I really feel we need to do a part 2 on this discernment, because I feel we have just barely touched on it. And there's so much more to bring about. So I am asking you if you are open to be back on Robust Lifestyles again to do part 2 on discernment.
I love it, Joyce. Absolutely love it. So, yes.
Awesome. And before we do close, would you please share with our listeners the best ways to connect with you?
The best way to connect with me is my email, and that is Ann, A-N-N, at annclossing.com. That's ANNKLOSSING.com. And that is my website. And then if you go to my website, which is just my name, you can get on the mailer list. You can join the Facebook group, the We Facebook group. And that's another way you can get a hold of me is through Facebook Messenger. And I would love to connect you with your soul. And I would love to reconnect with mine. It's been on hold for a little bit.
Oh, and I totally, yes, you have been through a lot of challenges, but to listen to you today, you are growing through them. Rather than bringing yourself down, you're bringing yourself up. And that is what is so beautiful and makes you such a light in this world. So
yeah. And it's not that we're not supposed to feel those low vibrating emotions. We are.
Yeah.
It's how do you use those tools to go through them gracefully?
Exactly. How true that is.
Not hang on to them. Let them flow through you.
Let them flow through you and rise above them. So, oh, Anne, this has just been amazing. And I'm so excited for part 2. And with that, I want to wish you a very magical day, and may magic and good energy and vibes just fill you and your partner's days till you and I chat again on Robust Lifestyle Show.
Thank you.
You are so welcome. And I want to thank all of our listeners for listening to this magical show with our amazing diva, Anne Clossing. Please share the show with all your family and friends. Check out all the other hosts and their shows on divasthatcare.com. And remember, we all have life challenges, and each life experience challenge is a moment to choose how we are going to feel, how we are going to react. And remember the principles of universal law. Just believe in the outcome and feel that beautiful outcome that it can be. With that, I want to wish each of you a magical, magical day. Remember, be kind to all, including your animals, and give your animals that great big extra hug and share all your love with them as they so deserve it. Until we connect again on Robust Lifestyles, stay strong and healthy.
Thanks for listening. This show was brought to you by Divas That Care. Connect with us on Facebook, on Instagram, and of course on divasthatcare.com, where you can subscribe to our newsletter so you don't miss a thing.